How's it going, guys? It's HermitGRAB here, and for those who don't know, my first ever video was about Plants vs. Zombies. It's still there in my abandoned Facebook page, and PvZ has a special place in my heart. It's the first ever video game I 100%ed, and I have countless amazing memories before Now, this video will be split into two parts. The first part will be about the plants, then the next will be about the zombies. Also, I'm not gonna do a video for PvZ2 because no. So let's get to the rules. 6 Pokemon per character, no legendaries, mythicals, or ultra beasts allowed, and only 1 starter if necessary. The only plant I won't be adding in this video will be the Imitator, since it mimics all the plants in the game, and even then, I'll just give it an entire team of Ditto. And with the rules out of the way, let's start Plants vs. Zombies, plants, but Pokemon. First is P-Shooter. P-Shooter's team is Ludicolo, Abomasnow, Vespiquen, Magmortar, Raichu, and Victory Bell. Ludicolo for P-Shooter's Sombrero Bean Bomb in the Garden Warfare games, Abomasnow since its pre-evolution Snover is based on a fir tree to reference P-Shooter's fur coat in PvZ2. Vespiquen because of B-Shooter in the Facebook game PvZ Adventures, Magmortar because of Fire P-Shooter in PvZ2, Raichu since its pre-evolution Pikachu is a mascot for Pokemon, similar to P-Shooter being one of the mascots of Plants vs. Zombies, and Victory Bell because it's the final evolution of Bellsprout, which looks exactly like P-Shooter. Next is Sunflower. Sunflower's team is Sunflora, Hisuian Lilligant, Sunnycast Form, Spiritomb, Wigglytuff, and Primarina. Sunflora since it's a sunflower, Hisuian Lilligant because of Sunflower's Sunflower Thinks She Can Dance video on her PvZ2 Almanac, Sunnycast Form since its appearance is similar to Sunflower, Spiritomb since its appearance is similar to Alien Flower in Garden Warfare 2, and Wigglytuff and Primarina because both of them can sing, referencing zombies on your lawn. Next is Cherry Bomb. Cherry Bomb's team is Cherim, Raichu, Obstagoon, Exploud, Electrode, and Typhlosion. Cherim since its pre-evolution Cherubi is based off a cherry, Raichu because of the Cherry Blossom Pikachu plushie, Obstagoon and Exploud because of Cherry Bomb's band in the PvZ2 Almanac, and Electrode and Typhlosion because they both reference some kind of explosion, like the explodinating Cherry Bomb. Up next is Walnut. Walnut's team is Electrode, Donphan, Togedemaru, Shuckle, Fortress, and Shiftry. Electrode because of Explodonut, Donphan and Togedemaru because of the Walnut Bowling minigame, Shuckle and Fortress because they both have crazy defensive stats to show Walnut's role in PvZ, and Shiftry since its basic evolution Seedot kinda looks like Walnut in a way. Next is Potato Mine. Potato Mine's team is Dugtrio, Excadrill, Diggersby, Electrode, Gigalith, and Baxcalibur. Dugtrio, Excadrill, and Diggersby because of their ties with burrowing and digging underground, similar to Potato Mine arming itself, Electrode because and Gigalith and Baxcalibur because of Primal Potato Mine's spinal pattern. Next is Snowpea. Snowpea's team is Glaceon, Alolan Ninetales, Frostlass, Grumpig, Marowak, and Empoleon. Glaceon, Alolan Ninetales, and Frostlass because they're all ice Pokemon for the Ice P-Shooter, and Grumpig, Marowak, and Empoleon for being featured in the Pokemon Ping Pong Tournament to reference Snowpea being a professional table tennis player in PvZ2. Up next is Chomper. Chomper's team is Carnivine, Mawile, Dodrio, Excadrill, Feraligatr, and Goodra. Carnivine and Mawile since they both look like Chomper, Dodrio because of the 3-headed Chomper in PvZ Heroes, Excadrill due to Chomper's burrow ability in the Garden Warfare games, Feraligatr because it's the big jaw Pokemon, and Goodra because of Chomper's goop ability in Garden Warfare. Next up is Repeater. Repeater's team is Luvdisc, Cofagrigus, Ninetales, Alolan Ninetales, Tauros, and Blazebreed Tauros. Luvdisc since Repeater yearns for love, Cofagrigus since you can get Repeater in Ancient Egypt and PvZ2, and Ninetales, Alolan Ninetales, Tauros, and Blazebreed Tauros because they're repeats. Up next is Puffshroom. Puffshroom's team is Lapras, Lucario, Toxtricity, Alolan Ninetales, Aerodactyl, and Umbreon. Puffshroom's team is a bunch of gift Pokemon that you can get for free to reference Puffshroom being a free plant with its 0 sun cost. Lapras, since you can get it for free in X and Y's Route 12, Lucario after your Mega Evolution tutorial with Karina, Toxtricity after evolving the hatch Toxel from Route 5's Nursery in Sword and Shield, Alolan Ninetales after evolving a gift Alolan Vulpix from Legends Arceus Request 83, Aerodactyl from Seafolk Village in Sun and Moon, and Umbreon after the numerous games giving you a free EV egg. Next is Sunshroom. Sunshroom's team is Solrock, Lunatone, Amoonguss, Root Bonnet, Shiinotic, and Umbreon. Solrock since Sunshroom generates Sun, Lunatone since you can unlock Sunshroom in the night levels, Amoonguss, Root Bonnet, and Shiinotic because they're all Mushroom Pokemon, and Umbreon because of the night levels and how much Sunshroom dislikes the sun. Next up is Fumeshroom. Fumeshroom's team is Alcremie, Doxbun, Root Bonnet, Breloom, Driftblim, and Wigglytuff. Alcremie and Doxbun because of Fumeshroom's former bakery job, Root Bonnet and Breloom because Fumeshroom is a mushroom, and Driftblim and Wigglytuff because whenever Fumeshroom uses plant food, the other plants call him Balloonshroom, so these two Pokemon would reference that, despite Fumeshroom having his feelings hurt because of the teasing. Next is Gravebuster. Gravebuster's team is Cofagrigus, Runerigus, Sandslash, Excadrill, Meowstic, and Meowscarada. Cofagrigus and Runerigus because of Gravebuster targeting Graves, which these two Pokemon reference, Sandslash and Excadrill because of Gravebuster burying Graves in PvZ2, and Meowstic and Meowscarada because Gravebuster likes cats. I would have put Houndstone into the team, but Gravebuster is terrified of dogs. Up next is Hypnoshroom. Hypnoshroom's team is Parasect, Hypno, Malamar, Poliwrath, Tinkaton, and Blaziken. Parasect since the mushroom controls the mind of the Pokemon, Hypno because, obviously, Malamar since it has powerful hypnotic abilities, Poliwrath due to its belly resembling Hypnoshroom's eyes, Tinkaton because of Hypnoshroom's plant food effect, and Blaziken because of Hypnoshroom's desire to make someone cluck like a chicken. Next is Scaredy-Shroom. Scaredy-Shroom's team is Mimikyu, Gengar, Spiritomb, Chandelure, Houndstone, and Annihilate. This team is meant to be a huge irony towards Scaredy-Shroom since he's terrified of, well, anything. So I decided to give him a team of Ghost-type Pokemon to showcase the irony. Next up is Ice-Shroom. Ice-Shroom's team is Cryogonal, Glalie, Abomasnow, Arctovish, Avalugg, and Satitan. Ice-Shroom's team is filled to the brim with Ice-type since it's Ice-Shroom. But Cryogonal would definitely be the Pokemon equivalent for Ice-Shroom because of the type and appearance with a paralyzed face. Next is Doomshroom. Doomshroom's team is Wigglytuff, Driftblim, Overquill, Toedscruel, Electrode, and Typhlosion. Wigglytuff, Driftblim, and Overquill since they are, or evolved from, balloon Pokemon to reference Doomshroom being Boom Balloon's plant food effect in PvZ2. Toedscruel because it's the only black mushroom Pokemon so far, and Electrode and Typhlosion because of the massive explosion caused by Doomshroom. Next is Lilypad. Lilypad's team is Palossand, Garganacl, Bellossom, Lilligant, Ludicolo, and Venusaur. Palossand references Big Wave Beach where you unlock Lilypad in PvZ2. Garganacl and Bellossom since Lilypad likes to square dance according to the PvZ2 Almanac, and I gave him a square and a dancing Pokemon. Ludicolo and Lilligant because their anatomy is based on Lilypads, and Venusaur for having semblance to bullfrogs, who use Lilypads in the wild. Up next is Squash. Squash's team is Golem, Wailord, Aggron, Caparaja, Hariyama, and Snorlax. This team is based on Squash's use of Body Slam and Heavy Slam. Considering that these are the best moves to associate Squash, I went for a team that maximizes these moves and just have the right way to deal insane damage with Heavy Slam. Next is 3-Peter. 3-Peter's team is Dugtrio, Wugtrio, Magneton, Dodrio, Klinklang, and Hydreigon. This is obvious, ain't it? 3-Peter's team is filled with Pokemon that have 3 heads or 3 main components. That's kinda it. Next is Tanglekelp. Tanglekelp's team is Dhelmise, Tentacruel, Cradily, Malamar, Dragalge, and Tangrowth. Dhelmise because it has some seaweed in its design, Tentacruel, Cradily, and Malamar for using their tentacles to drag prey into the deep, similar to Tanglekelp's mechanic in the game, Dragalge because it's based off of kelp, and Tangrowth because it looks like Tanglekelp. Next up is Jalapeno. Jalapeno's team is Mawile, Dracovish, Steelix, Paulucha, Scovillain, and Skeledirge. Mawile, Dracovish, and Steelix since they have a similar shape with Jalapeno. I know that sounds like a cop-out, but that's the best I got. Paulucha because of a luchador wrestler named Jalapeno Asesino, and Scovillain because of the Scoville scale, and Skeledirge because of the chili pepper. Up next is Spikeweed. Spikeweed's team is Pincurchin, Maractus, Overqwil, Dodrio, Medicham, and Drapion. Pincurchin, Maractus, and Overqwil because they all have some kind of spiky exterior, and Dodrio, Medicham, and Drapion because they all naturally learn acupressure to reference Spikeweed's acupuncture business in PvZ2. Next is Torchwood. Torchwood's team is Zen Mode Galarian Darmanitan, Armarouge, Chandelure, Rapidash, Magmortar, and Charizard. A majority of Torchwood's team is based off the fact that fire comes out of his head, but Charizard is much more personal since it references his fast friend, Snapdragon, from PvZ2. Next is Tallnut. Tallnut's team is Shuckle, Sudowoodo, Crustle, Duraludon, Stonjourner, and Garganacl. Shuckle because it came from the team of his brother, Walnut, Sudowoodo and Crustle because they both block a player's way, similar to Tallnut's mechanic, with Sudowoodo in the Johto games and Crustle in Pokemon Unite. Duraludon because its appearance is kinda similar to Tallnut's plant food ability in PvZ2, and Stonjourner and Garganacl for having a body similar to Tallnut, most notably the legs. Up next is Seashroom. Seashroom's team is Tentacruel, Toadscruel, Almastar, Shiinotic, Amoonguss, and Kingdra. Tentacruel, Toadscruel, and Almastar for having a combination of Seashroom's tentacles, the aquatic theme, and the mushroom theme. Shiinotic and Amoonguss for being mushrooms, and Kingdra for looking quite similar to Seashroom, if you put a bucket hat on its head though. Next up is Plantern. Plantern's team is Thievul, Luxray, Umbreon, Espeon, Ampharos, and Lantern. Thievul and Luxray because Plantern counters the bandit zombies in Dark Ages from the Chinese PvZ2. Umbreon and Espeon because of how Plantern takes in darkness and dispenses light. Ampharos because it has a tail that acts like a beacon, and its story role in the Johto games as the Pokemon in the Lighthouse, and Lantern because of course. Next is Cactus. Cactus's team is Driftblim, Sandslash, Dugtrio, Stonjourner, Cacturne, and Maractus. Driftblim because balloons are Cactus's archenemy, Sandslash because its pre-evolution Sandshrew is partially based off an armadillo, which is Cactus's date in PvZ1. Dugtrio and Stonjourner to resemble Potato Mine and Tallnut Battlement, the abilities Cactus uses in the Garden Warfare games, and Cacturne and Maractus because they're both cacti. Up next is Blover. Blover's team is Alcremie, Wigglytuff, Altaria, Iron Treads, Iron Moth, and Iron Thorns. Alcremie because its Gigantamax form references Blover's birthday cake incident according to the PvZ1 Almanac, Wigglytuff and Altaria due to Blover countering both the Balloon Zombie and the Fog, and Iron Treads, Iron Moth, and Iron Thorns since they all reference Far Future, the time period where Blover can be unlocked in PvZ2. Next is Splitpea. Splitpea's team is Vanillux, Scovillain, Girafarig, Mawile, Weezing, and Alolan Executor. Splitpea's team is filled with Pokemon that either have 2 heads or heads that look forward and backward. Next is Starfruit. Starfruit's team is Starmie, Toxapex, Solrock, Bibarel, Iron Treads, and Iron Moth. Starmie since it looks like a star, Toxapex because it's based off a starfish, Solrock because the sun is a star, Bibarel to reference Starfruit's only tooth with 4 cavities, and Iron Treads and Iron Moth to commemorate Starfruit's trip to the future in the PVZ2 Almanac. Next up is Pumpkin. Pumpkin's team is Smeargle, Gourgeist, Mismagius, Aryama, Gengar, and King Gambit. Smeargle references Pumpkin's painter cousin, Renfield from Peggle, Gourgeist because it's a pumpkin, Mismagius due to Pumpkin Witch in the Chinese PVZ2, Hariyama because Smashing Pumpkin and Squash are friends. So I included a Pokemon from Squash's team. And Gengar and King Gambit combined to reference Haunting Pumpkin from PVZ Heroes. Next is Magnetshroom. Magnetshroom's team is Breloom, Brute Bonnet, Amoonguss, Vikavolt, Probopass, and Magnezone. One half of Magnetshroom's team is meant to show his mushroom side, while the other half is meant to show his magnetic side, since Vikavolt, Probopass, and Magnezone need a special electromagnetic field before Generation 9 to gain their evolved form. Up next is Cabbage Pult. Cabbage Pult's team is Arcanine, Stoutland, Machamp, Vigoroth, Conkeldurr, and Dragapult. Cabbage Pult's team is mostly Pokemon that have jobs because of Cabbage Pult just doing his job, with Arcanine and Stoutland being police or guard dogs, Machamp and Vigoroth for moving companies as seen in the Gen 3 games, Conkeldurr for construction jobs, and Dragapult because Catapult. Next is Flowerpot. Flowerpot's team is Ludicolo, Cradily, Probopass, Zenmo Darmanitan, Slacking, and Snorlax. Ludicolo, Cradily, and Probopass because their head or headpiece looks like Flowerpot, and Zenmo Darmanitan, Slacking, and Snorlax because of Flowerpot's relaxed vibes in the Chinese PVZ2. Next up is Colonel Pult. Colonel Pult's team is Drampa, Alcremie, Delmise, Skookabilly, Pelipper, and Dracopult. Drampa because Colonel Pult is the eldest of the Pult brothers, Alcremie since its Gigantamax is a big cake, and Colonel Pult is the only one of the Pult brothers that remembers their birthdays. Delmise because you unlock Colonel Pult in Pirate Seas in PVZ2, Skookabilly and Pelipper because of Parrot Zombie and Pelican Zombie from the aforementioned Pirate Seas, and Dracopult because Catapult. Next is Coffee Bean. Coffee Bean's team is Parasect, Brute Bonnet, Shiinotic, Arctovish, Magnezone, and Typhlosion. Coffee Bean's team is made up of Pokemon that came from the Mushroom teams earlier. This is primarily because there's no Coffee Pokemon as of the recording of this video, and Coffee Bean is the most important plant for the Good Morning achievement and the Mushroom-only run. Up next is Garlic. Garlic's team is Rotom, Skuntank, Weezing, Crobat, Gliscor, and Venusaur. Rotom because of the Garlic drone in Garden Warfare, Skuntank and Weezing because both Pokemon have a foul smell, similar with Garlic. Crobat and Gliscor because Garlic hates vampires and vampire bats, and Venusaur since its pre-evolution Bulbasaur has a bulb shape similar to Garlic's shape. Next is Umbrella Leaf. Umbrella Leaf's team is Vileplume, Ludicolo, Toxapex, Shiinotic, Grumpig, and Decidueye. Vileplume, Ludicolo, Toxapex, and Shiinotic because their headpiece is similar to Umbrella Leaf's headpiece covering their appearance. Grumpig because its evolution Spoink springs all over the place, which also references the from Umbrella Leaf's Almanac entry. And Decidueye because of Umbrella Leaf's hair having a similar haircut to Decidueye's overall look. Next is Marigold. Marigold's team is Persian, Goldengo, Alcremie, Florges, Vivillon, and Furfrou. Persian and Goldengo since they are both luxury Pokemon, and Marigold literally produces income like payday. And Alcremie, Florges, Vivillon, and Furfrou because of their various colored appearances, similar to Marigold's colored appearances in the Zen Garden. Up next is Melonpult. Melonpult's team is Bouffalont, Blazeberry Tauros, Blaziken, Whiscash, Glalie, and Dracopult. Bouffalont, Blazeberry Tauros, and Blaziken because of the zombies from Wild West, the same place that you get Melonpult in PVZ2. Whiscash and Glalie since they both have the same head shape as Melonpult, and Dracopult because Catapult. Next is Gatling P. Gatling P's team is Tauros, Electivire, Electrode, Masharna, Hitmontop, and Garchomp. Tauros because it came from Repeater's team since Gatling P is his upgrade, Electivire and Electrode since they're both part of Lieutenant Surge's team, and Gatling P joined the military, Masharna, Hitmontop, and Garchomp because of Mega Gatling P's PVZ2 Almanac entry, mentioning ambitions, dreams, and gym memberships, with Garchomp majorly coming from the Cynthia's Ambition card in the Pokemon TCG. Next up is Twin Sunflower. Twin Sunflower's team is Claydol, Oregon Z, Talonflame, Lucario, Camerupt, and Primarina. Claydol and Porygon Z because they're both artificial Pokemon, similar to Twin Sunflower being artificially created in her Almanac entry in PVZ1. Talonflame, Lucario, and Camerupt to reference the zombies from ancient Egypt, the area where you unlock Twin Sunflower in PVZ2. And Primarina since it came from Sunflower's team, and Twin Sunflower being the upgrade. Up next is Gloomshroom. Gloomshroom's team is Wigglytuff, Shiinotic, Skuntank, Garbodor, Probopass, and Venusaur. Wigglytuff from Fumeshroom's team since Gloomshroom is his upgrade, Shiinotic because it's a mushroom, Skuntank and Garbodor because of Gloomshroom's stench from his heavy fumes, Probopass because of its giant face being similar to Gloomshroom's appearance in the cancelled PVZ3, and Venusaur coming from Garlic's team to commemorate the famous Garlic Gloom strategy. Next is Cattail. Cattail's team is Ludicolo, Stoutland, Midday Lycanroc, Lucario, Luxray, and Incineroar. Ludicolo since it came from Lilypad's team and Cattail is his upgrade. Stoutland and Midday Lycanroc because Cattail whoops like a dog in its Almanac entry, Lucario, Luxray, and Incineroar because they're all cats. Up next is Wintermelon. Wintermelon's team is Whiscash, Mantine, Hisuian Avalugg, Abomasnow, Aqua Breed Tauros, and Dracopult. Whiscash since it came from Melonpult's team and Wintermelon is its upgrade, Mantine and Hisuian Avalugg to commemorate the documentaries Wintermelon voiced in, with Mantine with Surf and Swedes, and Hisuian Avalugg with It's Cold Up Here. Abomasnow since it's the only ice grass Pokemon right now, Aqua Breed Tauros because of Rodeo Legend Zombie in Wild West, where you unlock Wintermelon in PVZ2, and Dracopult because Catapult. Next is Gold Magnet. Gold Magnet's team is Persian, Goldengo, Carbink, Breloom, Vikavolt, and Magnezone. Persian, Goldengo, and Carbink because of his job collecting coins and diamonds. Breloom from Magnetshroom's team since Golden Magnet is the supposed upgrade plan for him, and Vikavolt and Magnezone because of magnetism. Next up is Spike Rock. Spike Rock's team is Drapion, Pidgeot, Delmise, Steelix, Galarian Stunfisk, and Ferrothorn. Drapion from Spikeweed's team since Spike Rock is the upgrade plan for him, Pidgeot because of the Pidgeot statue in the Lilycove Museum, and Spike Rock really likes museums as mentioned in the PVZ Almanac. Delmise because you can unlock Spike Rock in Pirate Seas in PVZ2, Steelix, Galarian Stunfisk, and Ferrothorn because of their spiky exterior to show that Spike Rock is the most metal plant as stated in PVZ2. Next is Cobb Cannon. Cobb Cannon's team is Toucannon, Octillery, Kingdra, Electivire, Raichu, and Dracopult. Toucannon because Cannon, Octillery and Kingdra because of the similar head shape to Cobb Cannon, Electivire and Raichu because of Lieutenant Surge, and Cobb Cannon enlisting in the military in the Chinese PVZ2, and Dracopult because it's in Colonel Pult's team, and Cobb Cannon is the upgraded plan for him. And that is Plants vs. Zombies but Pokemon, for the plant side of things. The next video will be the second part of this with Plants vs. Zombies, Zombies, but Pokemon. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and please like and subscribe since 98% of y'all ain't subscribed. So a click or a tap on the subscribe button can help out a lot. And as always, I'm HermitGRAB and I'll see you soon.